Welcome back to Time Travel. This is Scott Barnes TV, and I'm your host, Scott Barnes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also leave a comment. All right, you guys, we're going back to the 60s. Let's go. Are you ready? It was a very tumultuous time. It was also a very exciting time. It was the most amazing decade. There was changes in civil rights, and fashion, and beauty, and music. Everything was exploding. So come with me back down the rabbit hole to the swinging 60s. It's groovy, baby. Yeah. We're here. We made it. We're in the 60s. Let me stop this. Wow. Let me take off our 60 shades. Hello, we're here. Welcome to the 60s, y'all. That was a journey. We had our space and time glasses on, which brought us to you. Thank you for all the likes and all the great comments. We love you guys. Thank you. That's really cool.
Thanks, guys, so much. It's been such an honor to work with you and be a part of this project. And
go on.
I'm so excited.
So let's talk a little bit about the 60s before we start doing makeup, which is my favorite thing to do, right? The swinging 60s was an unbelievable change in America and for the world because it was happening in London. It was happening everywhere. It was the time of counterculture. It was the Youthquake. You're a little bit Youthquakey here. We're gonna do a little bit of Twiggy. We kind of jumping up into the 66, 67. Okay. Amazing things happened in the 60s. I was born. Do you see how cute he is? Do I look the same? I look the same. Not a lot's changed. Still happy and meaty. 60s was amazing. The Youthquake was happening. It was the revolution of fashion, and it was really brought on by the teenagers. Short skirts. The girls started just like cutting and hemming their skirts, and then like designers like Mary Quant was like, let's turn this into an industry, which is very smart. Because in order to spot the trends and then to get in front of it, I think is...
And to capitalize on it.
And to capitalize on it is a work of art in itself. And then there were stores like Biba, which were in London, which were really great. It's kind of like the British invasion. Obviously, music came from there and fashion. So I kind of like that part of the 60s. In the 60s, we had clothing changes, makeup changes. Since you guys watched the 50s, beginning of the 60s was just like, kind of like the Eisenhower folks. They just kind of pulled into the 60s with the same look. It still was the A-line skirt, the new look. It wasn't new anymore.
Not so new.
No, it wasn't so new anymore. And it wasn't until the Youthquake of the 60s did things get really cool. And that's where the swinging 60s came from, and swinging London. So that was kind of like an interesting thing. You got a lot of things came out like Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, Sound of Music, Psycho, whatever happened to Baby Jane. That was amazing.
A few of my favorites.
As far as beauty's concerned, makeup evolved through the decades. Early 60s were like a continuation of the 50s, matte shadows, gray greens and blues, winged liner. Later 60s, Twiggy came out, in which we're gonna do a little twigginess, but it was the norm after that. It became the normal beauty regimen. We cut the crease. Like now we do a cut crease, but we do it soft. They did a cut crease with like liquid liner, like whoo, you know,
super strong. And
drew on the lashes, put a double stack. Sometimes people put 3 pairs of lashes on.
Wow.
Drag. Full drag, which we love.
We love it.
Very Dusty Springfield.
Yes, yes.
And big hair and big lashes. So it was a really amazing time for pushing the envelope a little bit, but still being flirty and fun. Foundation was pale and matte. Shiny didn't happen until the 70s, so hold your horses.
We'll be there soon.
Blush was light, pastel colors were great. Eyeshadows were frosted pink, blue, and green. And we had cool tones for mod. It was really about that dark socket though, which we're gonna do today. You excited?
I'm very excited.
Let's get started. I did your foundation earlier, and Frank did your hair.
Twiggy-esque bob, really beautiful.
It was like the Mia Farrow.
Rosemary's Baby. No?
It's a creepy reference.
Oh.
Rosemary's
Whisper.
So I'm doing the baby doll look, the mod look, which I call the Twiggy look. You guys are aware of it. Foundation's on, we have no blush on, no nothing. So we're gonna start with a little bit of sculpting and contouring because they did like to accentuate the jawline and they like to accentuate under the cheekbone. It was a very gentle way of saying contour. Contour's been around for a long time. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the sculpting and contouring kit, the Scott Barnes Sculpt and Contour #1, and I'm gonna use Snatched and Carved. And we're just gonna go underneath the jawline, just to really pronounce and make it look strong. Now, I watched a documentary on Twiggy where she herself was talking, and it was like this really interesting thing because all of a sudden, here's this girl that's kind of like a little boyish in a way, but really youthful, that just kind of like threw the whole world on its ear. It was like a time bomb. People were like, we are so ready for this, and she was the right thing at the right time.
That's amazing.
And she's very humble.
She seems so nice, so down to earth.
How she became Twiggy. She was like, I don't know, I still don't understand it. She's like, I'm just kind of along for the ride. That we did a little bit of strength on. Pretty, okay, so every time I say pretty, you guys gotta have a drink of something. So whatever it is, it's like, pretty. Let's go in the blush. They said soft, like Charmin soft. You're Charmony?
I'm Charmony.
That's like having a little bit of harmony, but Charmony. Okay, I'm using minimalist because we got a little bit of red in here and you've got this geometric dress on. They said matte, like a lot of powder. But when you look at like Dusty Springfield, she's so like beat down. There's a documentary I watched on her years ago. She had a hard time seeing, so she would get really close to the mirror and she would do her makeup for hours. And she would just cake it on and cake it on and cake it on. Just wouldn't stop. But everything was matted out except for the eyes. And you were like, yeah, kind of look like that. Makes perfect sense. This is fairly easy, but it's just tricky in the sense that we do it right. And I'm just powdering over what we just did, trying to connect it a little bit gently. Gently, 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 just bringing everything together. So I used P. Louise as eyelid primer, which is great because you kind of want the colors to pop. I want to go more into the later 60s, which is a little shimmer.
Sounds groovy.
Yeah, a little shimmer goes a long way. Groovy, baby.
Groovy.
It's gonna be good. And the whole deal was you had to go up, open your eye for me, and just above the crease. I'm gonna point it out. Look down and then open a bit. Okay, so you see where the natural crease is in the lid? You don't want to go in there. You want to go above it in order to achieve this look. You're gonna go like that. Let's use a little bit of brown so we can outline it first so you guys can see what I'm saying before we lay in the black. Okay, open your eye again for me. Yeah. This is why it was such a good thing to do on yourself, because you could look straight ahead at the mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the kids like came up with this themselves. I mean, it was like Twiggy came up with it. She was like, this is how I'm painting my eyes. See, it's just like above. And this is not like a smoothed out open lid. You know what I mean? We just want to create some space. You can do one of two things, right? We can either take the Tom Ford pen, double well, double action, or we can use
Traditional liquid?
Yeah, or we can use gel.
Gel.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because I don't use gel a lot. I'm more of a painter. Let's go right.
There.
Yep, and this, we want to go up. Like, we want to kind of build. And y'all, this is a Maybelline product. This is not, we're not going like nutso. It's not, we're spending $4 million on a product. It's Maybelline gel. Yes, and Bachi's like over there like, whoa. Now, what I did do was I used a brush to make this mess that I'm doing right now. This is really exciting.
Nice.
Yes, a big pet.
She's cute.
She's trying to be cute, but she's more like, yeah, she's got cramps. She's like, oh my God, I got cramps. I don't want to see anybody.
I don't want to be here.
Let me watch Lifetime movies. Stay in bed. So I want to go in with that P. Louise.
P. Louise?
Yeah, this was a cool brush. This is Royal Langnickel, Royal and Langnickel, number 4. It's 4200R, mini majestic, it's round. There's a lot of information on this handle.
Ooh.
It's like you're buying a car.
I know, I was like, is that a VIN number?
Yeah, we're just drawing in the space here. Gorgeous, right? Let's talk about P. See, this is easy.
Super easy.
Base. All right, I'm gonna just squeeze a teeny bit off on the back of my hand. That just helps kind of like create that energy. Why don't you tell me some fun facts while we're doing this?
So Joanne Woodward was actually the very first person with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
She was a great star, but like, there's gotta be somebody that's like, oh, that's because her publicist demanded it, you know, or something like
Right.
that. Okay, so P. Louise, a little bit of white. Let's do some color. She's
Okay.
cute. What do we got? Busy art. There's some fun colors there. There's one missing. That one's like the color you get to make up and you can call it whatever you want to.
Nice.
We like her. We've got the Scott Barnes Atelier. That's kind of fun. I kind of feel like it's in
like
there.
those, yeah.
There's all this palette too, which is kind of fun. But we used koi before, remember? We used it in the 30s.
Yeah.
She's kind of making a comeback. I don't know.
Is she? Okay.
We could do it like the color of your tights and your earrings.
Ooh.
They said frosted pink. I'm feeling like we should go to Atelier. I feel like we need to work in here. Like in Globetrotter. Let's see what she looks like. Kind of gorgeous, yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Seems a little matte too.
Talk to my agent. Well, this one's matte. Those two are like high shim.
You like it?
I'm just not talking to your agent though. All right, let's do comp card, and I'll show you guys what that shade is. It was the one in the middle again, just so you guys can remember. She's a little matte, but I feel like it's the right thing. It's the right place to go. With this. The 60s were so much fun.
So much fun.
Did you grow up watching TV?
I did. I used to watch some older shows from the 60s.
Okay, you're way younger than
I'm-
me, but I was born in '68, so they stuck me in front of the TV because
Yeah.
that was my new babysitter.
Oh, that's true.
Here you go, sit down.
That's
Look,
true.
yeah, don't move. I'll bring you a little treat.
My favorite show was probably I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay, she was popular. What did you like about her?
Is it too shallow to say hair and makeup? and outfit.
Well, it's the same reason why I liked her.
She was fabulous. She was beautiful. She always looked really great.
She was in control.
She was a genie.
I want to use the Tom Ford thing now. Now that we kind of like etched it out, did the eyeshadow, we're going to go in with the Tom Ford. This is easy, you guys, because it's a pen. All right? And the eye came down. It wasn't like out. And we're gonna connect it because then we still gotta do a liquid liner across the lid. It was a process. It wasn't like, hey, let me just go see what the kids are up to at the mall. Remember, because in the 50s, the mall rat was born. Did you hang out at the mall?
Not really.
Yeah, it was kind of like done by the time you got there.
I played sports after school.
Oh, okay, so you were athletic?
Yes.
You were one of those kids.
I was one of those kids.
You weren't like smoking in the parking lot.
No. Were you a mall rat?
I was a mall rat. I worked at the mall. It was like my first job. I worked at the mall.
Where did you work at the mall?
Don't even ask. I'm not even talking about it. I worked at a little clothing store. I kind of feel like I'm doing the arches from the brows from the 30s. The golden
The
arches.
golden arches are back. This time just lower.
Like so everybody could see. Yeah. So it's a little bit more pronounced. Easy peasy, George and Wheezy. So tell me, like, what do we got?
We have the Flintstone premiere in 1960. Then Barbie also had her first edition of Ken in 1961.
That's me, Barbie's boyfriend. Or Ken was my boyfriend, I'm not sure.
Cute.
I'm gonna line your top lid. Look down. And it started kind of small in the inside. And then we just brought it out. And you kind of connected. Could, or you didn't have to. Connect the corners here. It's starting to get that shape. And you could bring this out as far as you wanted to. This is what was so cool about this look. The 60s are coming in. They're
You're coming in strong.
She's coming in hot. What's our other favorite place that we like to hang out?
Disneyland actually announced in 1966 that they were going to buy a plot in Florida and build Disney World. So this was super exciting
It was.
because it was the expansion.
And then what
of
happened?
The Disney Empire.
Walt died.
And then unfortunately, Walt Disney passed away.
In
Made it a
66,
little harder.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he created a really amazing legacy that people still
He did.
enjoy today,
absolutely.
which is really fun. I should just pick something harder to do on camera. That's what I should do.
You're doing great.
Let's see, turn your head this way. Yeah. Clean and crisp. Show me that lid. We can go in and put some shimmer in there too. I'm gonna go all the way in. I think it looks better. I want to raise the roof a little bit
Raise
right
the
there.
roof. I like that.
I do too. I feel like she's a little flat right here. She needs arched. I feel like we have like a decent shape. Now we're gonna use liquid liner on the bottom. And what I like to do is drop it down. And I use this technique still today, and it really makes the eye look bigger.
Wow.
Put your chin down, look up for me. So you can start drawing the lashes on.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
And it was all from Twiggy. She made these great little twigs. Look up again. But it was great the way that sometimes they were perfect and sometimes they weren't. I noticed in some pictures they were like spot on. And I was a big fan of Verushka. Look down.
This is beautiful.
All right, let me do the other side. That's great. And you're gonna tip towards me. Look up. Just because I want to get the right angle of this drawing of the lash, right?
Absolutely.
The little twigs.
Baby twigs.
And this baby doll look was really indicative of also the way the girls were modeling at the time and the way they held their body and the posturing. It was almost like little girls, like little
Very
kids.
childlike.
It was very childlike.
Well, and it seems too, especially from the 1950s to the 1960s, the silhouette and the body of the way women were dressing and the silhouettes themselves seem much more straight and not as curvaceous and voluptuous as what we had.
It's almost like a revisit to the 20s because it was not about having breasts, where the 50s was all about being a mother and having breasts.
Yeah. And even the darker eye makeup in the 60s.
Right.
Kind of something that's maybe not dark, but bold, for sure.
Yeah, you're not afraid, and it's kind of like what we did again in
The 20s.
In the 20s. It was very bold and strong. This chair is moving. That's crazy. I pulled out the coolest lashes for you. You guys, this is an easy look. That's the whole thing. This is what I'm telling you. I mean, it's easy, but it's a little complicated. On a skill level, I think it's like anybody could do it. Anybody but me.
This is a look I can dig. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
That was part of the lingo.
Putting a little shimmer on here. Let's do it with my finger. I think it'll be better. I'm gonna finger paint. Hope it all works out. Little shimmer. And brows were really natural too. So let's not skip over the brow situation.
Okay.
We just kind of jumped all over it. It's a little bit of a soft arch.
More natural.
I think the eye was so bold. So I'm gonna use diced for the brow, especially because you're blonde. We're just gonna do some strokes. Nice and gentle. Sweeping them up. Kind of like the brows of today.
Yeah. Kind of thicker, still natural, and still kind of a natural shape.
It just depends. Like if you go on Instagram, some brows are just like way overdone. They're on another planet. There's like the ombre brow, the wavy gravy brow. You're like, what kind of brow are we talking about here? But the problem is I never see that stuff anywhere.
In
like,
real life,
no.
aside from Instagram. You don't see it walking down the street.
You're not at Walmart like, hey, I'm in line. Oh, look, I love your ombre brow. That's amazing.
So good.
Don't stop with the ombre brow. This is cute. You guys, I said cute again. Drink. It's a drinking game. Okay, give me another fun fact.
So in 1964, Ford introduced the first muscle car, the Ford Mustang.
Didn't you have one of those, or your dad had
So
one?
my dad had a 1968. I'm more on the Chevy Camaro side.
Okay.
So he had a 68 Camaro, and it was actually 3 on the column.
That's how I learned.
3 on the tree.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yep.
People say that too, and that was the first car I learned how to drive in. And we still have it.
Is that in good shape?
It is.
Or is it a rust bucket at this point?
No. My dad's actually put money into restoring it. It's super, super cool.
Maybe your
Old
kids'
muscle car.
kids can drive it.
Maybe.
Back to the future. Okay, I'm putting mascara on so that these can support the lash that I'm gonna put on. You know, you want a little bit of support there. I feel so groovy now. Things are finally coming together.
It looks beautiful.
I think it's cute. I said it
Cute.
again.
There we go. Third one.
I'm taking a little bit of rose petal powder from Ben Nye,
It's beautiful.
just to kind of like open it up a little bit. All right, you're gonna love this.
Moment of truth.
These are Ava's.
Ooh.
Yeah, these are sickening.
Ooh.
These are gonna make the whole look just like snap together.
And this is Ava, you said?
Ava, she's thick, she's healthy, she's juicy. And no, I'm not talking about pancake syrup. I'm talking about Ava's.
Oh.
I don't even need to measure them. I just know. Guess who died? Marilyn.
Oh.
That was very upsetting.
Yes.
Okay, this is like a project. We're gonna just place her right on the lash line. Oh yeah.
Wow. She is large and in charge.
Well, they said that they put like a triple stack of
Like,
lashes
yeah,
on.
yeah.
I was like, okay, what do I have that's
What's
triple
like the
stacked?
full
She's my 60s girl. And it's rounder in the middle, which gives it that doll
right. Yeah.
effect. And you still got the wing-a-ding on the outside, which you can elongate the eye. You can change the shape of the eye. Okay, so you know that like I manufacture my own products,
Yes.
right? I called up my lab and I'm like, I don't have pale enough shades and I'm doing a whole 60s segment. Can you guys make me some? And I sent them some color samples and they sent them back. They're
Oh my
here.
God,
So we're gonna
that's
play with them.
amazing.
This could be gorgeous or it could be your worst nightmare, but we're gonna
Stay
find out
tuned. We'll
together.
find out together.
Literally, they showed up FedEx minutes before we started filming this. Let's talk about lip liner. They liked their lip liner.
Really?
Chin
It's
down for me for
bolder?
a second. And open just a little bit, that's it. And open. See, look at me. Oh, good, she's the same family instead of one being like, hi, I'm the adopted stepson. sister with red hair that nobody likes. Oh, she's cute. I want to just make it more round. You know, with lashes this dense, the base is really always like, it's supporting a lot of fur. I feel like we could get a little bit more dramatic with the twigs.
Twigs?
Yeah.
Okay, the branches.
The branches. I'm going back in with the Tom Ford again, now that we have the lash on. Cute. We said cute
Very
again.
cute.
Now, what were you saying about music?
So I was gonna say, I know music was huge during the 1960s.
Yeah, it was
Who
massive.
were some of your favorite artists?
In my household, because it was 68 when I was born, okay? It was like, let's just get real. It was the end of the decade, right? I grew up in Detroit, so a lot of Motown and a lot of R&B. We weren't like a Sgt. Pepper household.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Cute. I really want to make these longer.
Lashes?
The unders.
I love that.
Yeah, she looks very
Yeah,
60s.
it looks very Twiggy.
She was amazing too. If you really kind of study her movements for a second, she had this innate thing that I don't think anybody else had at that time at all. Not even coming
She's
close to
very
it.
unique.
They broke the mold. They were like, here you go. And I think that's what everybody took to and gravitated towards.
Well, and I felt like too, just kind of the energy of the 1960s was a little more unique than what we've seen in some of the previous decades, like the 40s and the 50s. It was definitely kind of this rebirth of individualism
And freedom.
and freedom.
Yeah, women were like
sure.
burning their bras. They were
Yeah.
like, I'm out. Speaking of burning bras, guess what also came out in the 60s?
I don't know.
Silicone implants. Yep.
Oh my god.
You could get your own chi-chis. I wonder how much it costs
I do
as
too.
opposed to
I
today.
do too.
If anybody has the answer to that, please
Yeah,
list
put
it
it in the
below.
comments.
How much like a silicone boob job would be in the 60s. Another fun thing to play with, the Easy Bake Oven.
I had one. Did you have one?
I didn't. My cousin did, and you literally ate brownies baked on a light bulb. Soak that in for a second.
Yeah.
You shove the brownies in, and you were like, yeah, they're almost done. And it was like, gross. Let's do a lip. Okay, here, you guys, I'll show you the samples.
yeah.
They're really
Let's
cool.
see.
These are the glosses right here. Look at how cool that is, right?
It's beautiful.
And look at these. I mean,
pretty.
this is like super 60s. It's like
Super
white, but I
60s.
have a feeling it's gonna look like chalk. But let's do the chalk thing. We're gonna use Claudia from my lip pencil collection. It's such a pale shade, but it's really great for this kind of stuff because you don't want it to change the color of your lip, but you wanna maybe accentuate the positive. You gotta get rid of the negative.
It's pretty.
I know I gave you this pencil. You love it.
Yeah, I love all your lip pencils.
It's named after Karen Mulder, who I love. It definitely wasn't named after the Karen that runs after you in the grocery store. You cannot park your cart right there. Do you realize there are people in line? And you're like, no, I don't realize that. All right, look. Let's see what it looks like. I feel like it's gonna be too white, but we'll see. Oh, she's white. Like this is like concealer.
Concealer?
But it was the 60s, that's
But
what.
that's not, it doesn't look that bad.
I don't know if we were looking for, it doesn't look that bad.
Well,
she's kind of pregnant. She's kind of doesn't look that bad. If you get drunk and squint from across the room. She's a Monet, far away. She looks really good.
I don't hate it.
I don't either. It feels,
I kind of like it. It feels very authentic.
it feels 60s.
It feels very Barushka.
It does. I don't know what she used to put on her lips. It looked like zinc oxide. The lipsticks weren't like really lipsticks. I don't know what they were. Sometimes it was a lipstick, you could
Yeah.
tell. Like a lot of those corals and peaches. So lipsticks weren't matte. They were a little glossy. They were kind of pearly, like your nails.
Yoko did an amazing job.
She
Shout out
gave-
Yoko.
Yeah, she gave you the 60s pearl nail with the correct shape for the 60s, which was like an almond shape with a point. We're gonna explore nail art in the 70s because that's when acrylics kind of came out and people were like doing acrobatics. In the words of the 60s, sock it to ya.
Sock it to ya. That's
Mm.
a good one.
Does it feel dead mouth?
Don't let it feel like a bummer.
Total bummer. Did you notice that some of the sayings in the 60s are very similar to the sayings that people use in the Valley? That's a total bummer. Everything had total attached to it because that made it more. I feel like it's your nail polish on your mouth. I'm not loving it.
I liked it at first. But
Now that it's building up and it's drying, now it looks like chalk. It's like my weird food obsession where you're eating chalk. Okay, this is a gloss. Now, did you see Valley of the Dolls?
I did see Valley of the Dolls.
Amazing. Jacqueline Suzanne.
So great. Was the best-selling book of the 60s, right?
It was one of the best-selling books of the 60s. I don't know about that. I can't with this
I
lip.
don't know if you...
Do we have another tone? Can we try a different lip? Okay, let's try to like make this less.
Spooky?
Let's make it less, okay? Oh, wow. That's better. I feel like that works for us. She's a little warmer. I think we can write the lab and say, this is a no. Unless you're dead. Like if you're dead and you're going for the spooky Lou look, this is gonna work for you. This is a yay.
That's pretty.
How you feeling?
Feeling foxy.
You feeling foxy? I love that. That was another foxy came out. How about old lady?
Old lady.
This is my old lady.
That's such a dig.
It's really not like the nicest thing to say. I'm using glowy and showy or glowy and hoey, depends on where you're from and what you're going for. If you're from town, probably glowy and hoey. And I'm just gonna kind of give your cheeks a little bit of a gloss and a little bit on the tip of your nose just because I love the way it looks. So guess what?
What?
I have the matching gloss. Oh, she's cute. This could be my new go-to nude.
I like that.
Imagine this with a really good self-tanner.
Ooh.
I'm here, I'm crispy, my lips are white. Which has been good because I've been able to create these looks on you, which in the 30s, it was literally ghastly white.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Scott.
It's pretty, right? And I already put the cap on it, so it must be mine. And she fits and everything, that's weird. See if
Give
we're
me
right.
some skin.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty.
She feels 60s, she feels Twiggy, she feels
Yeah.
mod. I feel like we need to contour some more. We had some people this week took our advice from our little tutorials here and created their own
I
tutorial.
saw that.
Did you see it?
That was so cool. That
I
was
loved
beautiful.
it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
that
Anybody
was
that does
awesome,
that, I'm
guys.
like, I'm
Thank
featuring you because
It's amazing.
you warm my heart. So Warhol was amazing.
Yeah. Soup cans came out in 1962.
Yeah, 64.
Yeah,
We had exotic makeup looks were really big, included butterflies and flowers, which I love. I can
Yeah.
get down with the butterflies
Yeah.
and flowers. And my favorite time period, 1967 into the late 60s,
Yes.
which was the Harper's Bazaar look, which was
Amazing.
this eye,
Yeah.
but with really like poochy patterns and gorgeous
Poochie.
dresses. And it was kind of that Barushka moment.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we're gonna get into all that during our photo shoot, which you guys will love. But I felt like we should start off with this cute kind of mod Twiggy situation. Welcome to the 60s, y'all.
Welcome to the 60s.
I hope that you guys had fun on this journey with us. It was definitely a journey for me.
Yes.
I want to see you guys at the photo shoot. I love you, God bless you, and I'll see you guys in a minute.
Thanks, Scott.